What's up, bros? Got your host, February Beats, and I tell you here with another video. And I'm not gonna lie, it has been a minute, but I have always been wanting to cover action figures. I've watched a lot of people, Dark Spider, whoever, and if you're my usual audience, might not be your thing. You might just like my video game content. That's fine. But this is me testing the water grounds, and I really want to talk about something that isn't really talked about today in modern culture, really, when it comes to action figures. I mean, I collect wrestling action figures. Sometimes I collect McFarlane action figures. I want to get the new Batman Returns figure, but it's at a high market price right now, so it'll never happen until the price is lowered. I want to talk about these action figures. I'm gonna keep falling over. Anyways, I want to talk about these action figures. Kenner. Sometime I'll get the Toy Biz and I'll talk about how these action figures came into my life. There is a Batman that, and maybe I'll share a bit of that soon, but right now I just want to talk about these three figures. This is from Mask of the Phantasm. This is not the original cape that came with it. I put this cape on it because it's supposed to be a retro Batman, and I wanted to give it like more of a retro 40s feel, like a Batman from the 1940s. So the cape is a little more like, has a classic feel. Like when you look at it, it looks a little more classic. It looks like something Batman sewed up first and didn't really think of the design. And I really like this cape because it came from a McFarlane black and gray Batman, which I threw the figure aside and I don't know what I did with it. And I like black and gray Batman, but McFarlane figures are weird. The cape actually, for the figure itself, is never like actually properly made. Like for the new and I'm talking about the McFarlane Superpowers line. And he discontinued the line, which I wish he didn't. He made a lot of characters I want to get. I want to get the Dark Knight Returns Batman. I never got the Batman Hush one. I don't plan to. I bought the manga Batman one. I bought the Batman Who Laughs. I want to get a Superman. I'm not even a big Superman fan, but there's a few figures in that line I want to get because I'm looking at the line. I'm looking at Kenner. There's Kenner figures I'm getting. This is Kenner. This is all Kenner. And here's another thing. Kenner made the first ever Alfred. This is the first ever Alfred figure. It's animated Alfred from Batman the Animated Series. And this Batman is based on Kevin Conroy. Rest in peace, Kevin Conroy. I think he passed away either early 2020. I think it was early 2023. It might have been early 2023. I'm trying to remember. It was right around when the Suicide Game was dropping when he passed away. Or it was a little before that, and he passed away around that time, sadly. But rest in peace, Kevin Conroy. This is the New Adventures Batman. This came on a little after. There is an animated Batman before that everyone talks about, Combat Belt Batman. I have it. It's not in the best condition, and if it was, it would be $80 or more. Usually you get a Combat Belt Batman, and if you get it in the most great condition and it's not in the box, it goes around $80, $90. I would say somewhere around there. But I really want to talk about this guy. And the reason why I'm talking about this guy, because a while back, a couple years ago, more than probably like 8 years ago or so, I got this figure. And it came in a 4-pack with a Poison Ivy, a Mr. Freeze, and a Nightwing. And so far, I have never seen this figure anywhere but a different variation of it being in purple from the Batman Mission Masters line. So what I think this is... And the one in the Batman Missions line it has like a shiny silver and then purple around it. I'm going to be honest with you, I have never been a fan of weird, wacky variations of Batman or Spider-Man figures, but I did get into it because of my grandparents. My grandparents got me into these figures when I was really young. Like, I don't know, I was like probably, want to say 7. I was 7 when I got into them because I remember my first ever like Batman figure of this line was from Batman the Animated Series Kenner, and it was Lightning Strike Batman. Sometime I'll talk about my collection of figures, and every Christmas year they would get me like a Kenner figure or a Toy Biz, and it was so cool because I know my grandparents never knew what they were getting me, but they were getting me old 90 Batman figures, and I thought it was the coolest thing ever because I did my research on the figures and I was like, this is cool. And then I ended up watching the 90s commercial. This sounds so stupid, but I watched the 90s commercials on these toys and I'm like, this is so cool. And we don't even get advertisement of modern 2000, 2010 toys today like the way these figures got it. The funniest thing is, I'm not trying to talk too much about this Batman from this toy line, but from the Mask of the Phantasm line, it's from a movie line made by the same people, but from a movie line. And in the movie line, which I have the figure, I have a lot of the Kenner Batman figures, which I've been collecting since I think I would say I was 10, probably, and it's 10 years later, which is crazy to think. And this Batman, in his line, the Phantasm, the main enemy of that movie, there's a spoiler that comes with the action figure and it reveals who the Phantasm is, even though it's a mystery in the movie, which I always think is funny. But anyways, back to this Batman. The thing I like about this Batman is I have no clue if anyone looked at an old Batman figure or something and looked at it and was like, does this inspire the modern comics? Because there's a lot of people that talk about Absolute Batman. I'm not going to get into... I mean, I guess I could, but it has nothing to do with this action figure. But if you just look up Absolute Batman, just look it up. I'm not going to get into it. I'm not I'm not a comic book nerd like I was when I was younger, but I know a little bit. And basically, Absolute Batman is supposed to be this Batman where he's Bruce Wayne, but he's poor instead of rich. And I think he's like a mechanic or he's like a welder or something. He's a poor version of modern Batman, basically, or whatever you want, like mainstream Batman. And to me, when I look at this action figure, because I've looked at a lot. I looked at a lot of custom Absolute Batmans. There's a Absolute Batman figure coming in 1/6 for Hot Toys, and I was looking at this figure, and I'm not gonna lie, to me it's interesting. This kind of looks like Absolute Batman. It has the shoulder pads like Absolute Batman. It has the detailed armor look. The only thing is Absolute Batman doesn't really have an armor look, but the way it's stylized, it looks like Absolute Batman to me. And I don't know if they pulled the design from an action figure or they just came up with it on their own, but usually you pull things from, like when you pull inspiration like that from stuff, you pull it from areas you have looked at, like childhood memories or like what you fond of most. Like the reason why some people for example, comic book artists, the reason why they like drawing Batman in blue and gray is probably because it reminds them of the 70s or the 80s Batman comics. So that's why they like drawing him in blue and gray. And if people like making them all black or black and gray, it's mostly because stuff from that era of Batman inspired them. There is a video I want to talk about, there's a video, because I don't think anyone has ever brought this up, and it's about the animated series Batman, and I want to talk about the action figure, Combat Belt Batman, but that's for another video. I just wanted to bring up how I think, and not only that, but I think this action figure also reminds me of Arkham Batman. I grew up with the Arkham games. I grew up with them from Arkham Asylum up to Night. Those were my childhood Batman games, and my first introduction to Batman outside of the animated series, which I used to watch and I'm going to say this right now, it was a cable channel, and it was literally called The Hub. And it would be like some big white bubble, and they would run like, I'm trying to remember the shows they used to run, but there was like Scary Stories or something, and then there was Batman the Animated Series, Batman Beyond, a Transformers shows, and then some Pound Puppy show. Not Pound Puppy, but because that's something else with another commercial. But I just think together, I think like in a way, and I just want to say this, the 90s set a standard of action figures. And I want to talk more about that with my Spider-Man, the animated series figure, because there's a superposable Spider-Man, and I want to talk about that figure and compare it to a modern figure. But for Batman, the animated series, which, in my opinion, I have seen a lot of DC Direct animated series Batman figures. This is not the right cape that comes with this figure, so if you're wondering if it doesn't come with it. If you actually look, it has a plastic cape, but I'm gonna be honest with you. For these figures, I hate plastic capes. This figure came with a more of a like a cape that was already built into it. Because if I bring it up and then pull it over, I don't know why it has screws. I'm gonna be honest with you, I don't know why it has screws in the back. I always wondered that, but it's one of my favorite Batman figures ever since I was little when I got it with my aunt and my mom. But it has screws in the back. Don't know why it has screws in the back, but I just think like in these three figures, now there is one that shares a similar design with the Combat Belt Batman, and then this Batman figure and this Batman figure, and it's a little confusing because I think it was just a repaint that they were trying to sell. And I do want to talk about the wacky variations of Batman, but at this point, like I'm in my life where I don't collect wacky variants unless it's like to me, the only variants I'm collecting, like from McFarlane, I'm collecting the Dark Knight Returns Batman. I'm collecting characters I never had before, like Alfred, Robin. Like I even I'm really right now I'm really liking this Toy Biz Batman. This isn't from the same company. Toy Biz had the Batman license a year before Kenner ever got the license. Kenner had the license before Toy Biz, and then Toy Biz got the license right after Kenner, and they put out their Batman 89 figures in 89, and they didn't really have the likeness rights to Michael Keaton. That's a whole nother action figure story. But I just, right now, and I popped this figure from an animated Batman figure. Not that one, but it's from another one that's similar to that one. And I put it on this figure because the cape looks great on this figure. I don't know why. It just looks really good on this figure to me. And I really like this. And I like this Kenner Batcave. I'll talk about the Kenner Batcave another time when I fully like get the accessories back into it, because it's like it was uncompleted when I bought it. I want to complete this whole thing, but I'm getting off topic. What I want to talk about is I think we don't give the 90s action figures more credit than they deserve. And I think too many people are more caught up with collecting the modern, high standard, and most expensive value figures. Like, when I look at an action figure, I look at it and I see, am I really going to display it? Does it look like something I want? Do I like it? Will I actually have any need for it? And if I'm like, nope, I might toss it or whatever. Like McFarlane, like there's a lot of McFarlane figures I want, like First Appearance Batman or any of those Batman figures, because I collect Batman. I like Batman. Batman is one of my favorite characters. My girlfriend, she knows Batman is one of my favorite characters, like generally my favorite character. Like she's seen my display, and I showed her my display, and she generally looked at my display and she's like, wow, that is too much Batman. I'm like, yeah, I guess so. And my grandparents have like always, I guess in a way, I guess like jokingly, they spoiled me every Christmas, and I got like I got this Batman from my last birthday with my grandmother before she passed. And I love her dearly, and I will never forget. And I got a lot of Kenner figures with my grandmother and grandpa, and I don't know why, but every time I go somewhere with my grandmother and my grandpa, I'm lucky. Like every time I went somewhere with them, I found something, and it's just it. And I mostly found Kenner figures. Like I found and it's just so interesting to me. I don't have much more to say about these figures than how amazing and special they are. And hey, they're not for everyone. Everyone collects what they want to collect at the end of the day. There's some people that like collecting the retro stuff. I didn't even grow up in the 90s. I didn't grow up in the 80s. I just like the stylize of the simplistics of action figures. Like, I think, in my opinion, the one thing that's really cool about these action figures that I feel like most action figures don't have these days is molding. Like, this is not painted. Like, there's sometimes McFarlane does great molding, but most action figures like Hasbro, which, by the way, there's another story, which I've done my research and stuff on this company, but Kenner ended up getting owned by Hasbro. Hasbro makes Marvel Legends now. Anyways, it's just amazing that, like, the small detail, like this is not even painted on. That's what I really like about this figure. This, like, I'm trying to hold this into the camera, sorry, but like, look at that. That's all molded. That's not just painted on. Like I don't know why. It's mostly, I think it's mostly because it was so simple to focus on what you wanted, and you could just mold it. You could just mold it on, like the top armor pieces, the little chin strap thing. It's not even painted. It's all molded on there, and it looks good. It looks good. I mean, yeah, some of the paint is chipping because I was a rough player, but like it's just, to me, I don't know. I guess I like simple action figures. And there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, there's people that still collect 90s action figures till this day, and I had and there's still action figures out there I want to get. Like I want to get the ventriloquist. I want to get some McFarlane figures. Like before, I was passing on a lot of Superpowers McFarlane because I'm like, I don't want this. I want to just focus on getting the Kenner. I want to get the Superpower. I want to get a Jack Nicholson Kenner figure because I'm not gonna lie, surprisingly, let me show you something real quick. Now, I do not have the Jack Nicholson Joker from this line, which this is from Batman Returns, and this Batcave had so many iterations. That's another story for me to talk about. This is just me talking about this. This is a Michael Keaton figure. Imagine, like, you know, it's not even just imagine. It's crazy kind of how accurate this Michael Keaton figure is. And then you can have a Michael Keaton Bruce Wayne standing next to your Alfred figure. Alfred is a little taller. I don't know how accurately, like, the scaling on these figures are a little weird because I'm pretty sure Bruce would be as tall as Alfred or a little taller. But also I think it's mostly because this was a movie Batman that came out before this animated Alfred. So that's probably also why, because I think if I were to do a scale comparison, Alfred should be shorter than Batman, which he is. I'm trying to get this on camera, sorry. But yeah, Alfred should be shorter than Batman, which is still cool because came from around the same line as this Batman, because I think when they did another iteration of this Batcave, he came with this Batcave. This is an animated series Batcave, which I am so glad I got the animated series version. But I did not get this Alfred until like years later, until like maybe a year ago. Like I think I bought this Alfred a year ago. And now he's a little cheaper than what he was when I bought him, because I guess it's because like McFarlane is making modern animated figures, so not a lot of people are worried about getting this Alfred in their collection. I'm glad I have this Alfred in my collection. I just wish I had the lobster thing, because that would be cool to have this Alfred complete. I like to complete some figures. Some figures I don't care about completing. Like this Bruce Wayne, the paint is chipped on it. This is actually, I don't know, there's supposed to be more paint on it, but the paint is chipped, and it's chipped at the top of the hairpiece. But I like this figure altogether because it has likeness of Michael Keaton. And say you want to have your movie Batman, like, I don't know, I guess it's in the same height or so. I mean, Kenner and Toy Biz had a different, like, toy lines, but, and I'm trying right now to get a Toy Biz Robin. I kind of want, and the Toy Biz Robin is like a classic 60s Robin, 70s Robin look, and I really want that, but that's Toy Biz. I'm not going to talk about Toy Biz. I just want to talk about how Kenner all together and a bit of Toy Biz, their figures still stand today. Like, there's a lot of these figures you can look at, and, like, I'm not gonna lie to you, the detail on these action figures are amazing. Like, I can look at this action figure, and I can say Kevin Conroy. Like, I can feel like Kevin Conroy's voice is coming out of this figure. That sounds crazy, but usually, like, when people read a Batman comic or something, they think of Kevin Conroy's voice. I look at this action figure and I feel Kevin Conroy. And he's a great Batman. He was a great Batman. He did it for, like, I think nearly 30 years or so, from the animated series up to the Arkham series to Suicide Squad and any Batman projects in between that stuff. He was Batman. And I just think anything that's old, and just because it, like, I hear this a lot of times too. This is another thing. Like, I'm going to end this video, so I've been talking for a hot minute, but I hear this a lot of times. I was looking at this, like, I like watching, like, figures on retro stuff a lot lately. I was watching this Superpowers McFarlane review of manga Batman. And this guy is like, oh, well, this is nice for nostalgia or something like that. And I don't think they realized that. And I at first, I was thinking, oh, this must be for the people that just didn't get, like, the figures back in the 80s. Because that's when the toy line came out. No. The McFarlane line, hold on, I'm going to show you this real quick. Because I do have it up on display. I got to take it off display. The McFarlane line, this is from the McFarlane line. You can tell the difference between the later 90s Batman figures to, I think this is, I want to say 2023, maybe 2024 or so. McFarlane manga Batman. Now, I got this Batman for $5 at GameStop a day ago. Literally yesterday, I bought this for $5. And I was so happy I got it for $5 with my GameStop discount. And I was like, okay, I got a cool Batman figure, which I did my research because I remember manga Batman and everything. I'm not going to go too deep into it because I could talk about this if I really wanted to. But the thing I really like about this that I just now noticed that other people didn't notice is McFarlane didn't just make this line for nostalgia feels. He made this line, and I'm not just going to say for kids, because I don't think he made this line for kids, because McFarlane is not, like, a for kids company. He's more collector. Like, his figures and everything is more collector and nostalgia based than any other, like, action figure company. Even Hasbro isn't that way. The thing I like about McFarlane and what he did, I don't like a lot of McFarlane things, mostly because of how he advertises his action figures, how he puts stuff out. I don't like it for that reason. But what I really like, and what he did with the Superpowers line, is that he brought back the world of DC action figures in 5 points of articulation, a classic style of action figures, and he noticed that there was still 5 points of articulation of action figures, and he wanted to bring it back, but he didn't do it to remake the same figures that were made in the old line, which is what people misunderstood. And if I articulate this the right way, he did it to have these figures match in line with his modern line, but to give them characters that, and people have said this before, oh, it's to give them characters that they never got before, but it's to give people a alternative of collecting. And I hate that the line got discontinued, because there's some good figures in it. I wish we got a variation of Joker that we never got. I wish, in a way, he was able to reuse animated molds in the, like, he could have made a more on-point animated series Batman which is Combat Belt Batman. And honestly, I'm about to pull this Combat Belt Batman into the video just so you can see what Combat Belt Batman looks like, which is the traditional animated series costume. Hold on. Okay. This is Combat Belt Batman, the traditional animated series Batman. Like, if you wanted Kevin Conroy's Batman as an action figure, this and the Arkham Batman is usually what you want. This is there now. Mine has a bit of paint chip. The bat symbol isn't really perfect, and I bought one where the cape is just on forever, and I'm actually fine with that because I don't want to lose the cape on this figure. So I'm actually completely fine with it because, like, I don't know if you can see that there's like some hook thing around it, and I'm fine with that. Perfectly fine with that. Anyways. This Combat Belt Batman, which is what I'm talking about, I wish we got more stuff, and I'm just going to put him up there, because this is like traditional anime Batman. I wish we got more stuff like this, because I don't think people realize how special we were getting things, and I'm hoping Mattel, which Mattel has been my favorite companies I grew up with their action figures. They even made... before they even started their first official DC Universe line and everything, they were making animated Batman figures, and I got a few. I don't need to pull it out and show you. You can look it up if you want. But this Batman figure is more special than people realize, and I think, like, it's an alternative. it's not just for nostalgia people, because some people are like, oh, why? Like, I've seen it. I like Retro's blasting videos. His videos are great. I have no issue with the dude or anything. But most of the people are looking at these figures and they're like, oh, why are we getting these? These aren't for us. Like, what? And they're like, oh, this is for the people that didn't get the superpower figures when they came out or something like that. Because the superpower figures are expensive. But I don't think people realize how special these figures really are, because it was an alternative from his base molds that he was making in 7-inch. This is for you to put alongside with your 90s figures, because he knows there's still people that collect these figures, people that want these type of figures, and there's no more of them. And that's why he made them. That's how special this really is, and people don't realize that. And that's why, like, in modern day of collecting, I'm actually glad I'm finding these things. I'm going on eBay. I'm looking at stuff like this, and I'm getting retro stuff, and it's not because of value. I hate that action figure collecting is now value. And I don't mean to turn this into some sorry, bit of cough up. I don't mean to turn this into some argumentative point that, like, oh, you shouldn't buy the high end stuff. What I'm saying is, and I'm just talking about how the 90s stuff was cool. I just like the 90s stuff. I like it. I do collect modern figures. I do have modern figures. Am I going to pull one out right now to show you? No. Could I show you? Yeah, I definitely could. I have a few modern figures from the 2010s, whatever. McFarlane. I do have modern figures. I'm not going to pull them out and show you. I just wanted to make a point and talk about this stuff. And I have a few modern figures on display behind these Batmans. But my point is, why does everything in collecting now have to be high value? Like, there's 1/6 collectors that are, like, disgusted with themselves if they buy a 6-inch action figure. And it's like, okay, we get it. You're used to the high-end shit. But I also want to talk about this. This was my first ever Kenner Batman that I was actually, like, with my grandmother. I can't remember if my grandpa was there. I'm pretty sure he was. I was there with my brother as well. And I saw this Batman next to a Batboat. This is Deep Dive Batman from the Batman Returns Kenner line. And look at that Batman head mold. Yes, the eyes aren't accurate. I get it. Yeah, it's not completely accurate. But look at the head mold. That is Michael Keaton's jaw. That looks like Michael Keaton. That generally looks like Michael Keaton. And it's crazy to say that, because this is from the 90s, 92 or something like that. Early 90s. This figure came from early 90s. And I feel like early 90s action figures do not get the credit that it's due. It doesn't get the credit that it needs. And I feel like it's just not talked about as much. It's not. Like, even like, and I'm not trying to bash people that collect McFarlane or whatever. If you collect McFarlane, go ahead. My point is just, collect what you want. Don't collect what's expensive. Because if you're collecting what's expensive, then you're not enjoying what's collecting then. You're not enjoying... If you're collecting just to resell, at the end of the day, this is how I look at it. If you're collecting just to resell, then I don't know. It's okay if you collect something that you really like, and then one day you just end up not liking it anymore, and you're like, okay, I'll sell it. But if you're collecting it purposely, and not like scalper reselling, if you're collecting it purposely to resell it because you're like, oh, I only want to buy the high-end stuff, then you're not really collecting. You're just spending the money out of your pocket for the moment just to get more money in your pocket. You're not really collecting. You're just taking money out of your pocket to put someone else's money back in it. And it might not even be that much as it was before. Do not collect for that reason. Don't ever collect for that reason. Because I just think this is cool. Now the thing is, I'm not into wacky variants of Batman anymore. Like, this isn't for me. Like, maybe this was for 9-year-old me, maybe 8-year-old me, but I generally like the variants of Batman I like collecting. I will say this is more comic, movie, and show accurate Batmans. Like, this Batman never has appeared in a show or whatever, but it looks pretty accurate to the comics and video games. and it's enough for me to say, okay, this is something Batman would wear. And this is a thing. Manga Batman was a thing. It was a thing in the 60s when Adam West was huge. That's a natural thing. And I got that variant of Batman because I'm like, okay, if I get Toy Biz Robin, and I bought this for $5 at a GameStop, and if I get Toy Biz Robin, I could put him next to a classic looking blue and gray Batman. Even though it looks blue on camera, but it's a little more of a bluish gray, I guess, which is weird to me how they made it because Batman was more blue back then, but whatever. And I just think like we shouldn't take credit where it's due. And if you like collecting stuff like this, like I do, and McFarlane, okay. And I will. And if you like this video, I'm gonna probably just end it on a high note because honestly, it's 30 minutes, and I don't know what more I can say because there's a lot I could say honestly. But I'm just gonna say on this retro perspective, I don't know what I'm gonna call this video, but on this retro perspective, I just want to say. If you sat through this whole 30 minutes of me ranting about old 90s Batman figures, thank you. Thank you. Thank you for listening to me rant. And I hope you enjoyed it. Subscribe if you're new to the channel. If you want more of this, let me know, because there's other figures I want to talk about. This is something I've been wanting to talk about for ages, and I'm finally getting around to it, and I'm feeling confident about it. So, yeah, I don't know. And it was kind of just fun talking about all my times and stuff with these type of action figures. This isn't even the first Batman figure I got from like that was in the Kenner line. It was the Lightning. I'm pretty sure it was the Lightning Strike Batman, or it was this Batman. This Batman did have a cape. I ended up putting this cape on one of these Batmans or another Batman that's on my display. But yeah, that's me talking about 90s Kenner and a little bit of Toy Biz, but I'm probably just going to leave it as Kenner because I didn't really talk much about Toy Biz, and I don't have much Toy Biz figures other than the Bob the Goon and a few of the Batman head iterations. Anyways, thank you for watching. Subscribe if you're new to the channel, like, comment below, and leave post notifications on because you'll never know when I upload, and thank you for watching.